All right, you guys, welcome back to our weekly live feed. As you're logging on, if you'd like to come work with me, Sean'sCoutureCuties.com is where you got to go. Let me put up the QR code for that. It's here somewhere. Here it is. There we go. There's my website for you. We are live both on Instagram and on YouTube right now, but I am going to log off of Instagram in a second here. Just wanted to give it enough time for you guys to see it. If you are on Instagram, go head on over to YouTube. The YouTube experience is much, much better. You get pictures and screen shares and all of that. The link is in my bio here on Instagram. So if you're logging on Instagram, go to YouTube. If you're with me on YouTube, say hello. Say hi. Tell me where you're coming in from, where you're listening from. And tonight, while we're waiting, let me shout out our YouTube sponsors. We've got Prozis. So go ahead and scan on that QR code, head on over there, use my code Cuties10. That will get you discounts on everything that you purchase. Hello from Texas. I just got all of my goodies in from Prozis for this month. I have to do a unboxing. I did record it, but I just didn't put it up yet. So we got Orlando. Congratulations, Shawana, on winning the overall at your show this past week in the Clash. Shawana is one of our sponsored athletes. She just won the overall in her first show back in a while. And we got Utah. And let me shout out Liquid Sun Rayz here too. Cuties15 is our code for Liquid Sun Rayz. Get your discount on your tanning, your hair and makeup, your skin prep, which I am getting close to 1 month out from my show, which means I got to start doing my skin prep again. So that's the fun part. Also, if you are coming to Cuties Conquering the Stage, if you did not know this, we started a WhatsApp group for Cuties Conquering the Stage this year for CCTS. So if you are not in the WhatsApp group yet, you need to be, because that's going to be a lot easier for us to communicate with you. We do have the Facebook group still too, but we still have issues with it. The actual page had been hacked, so we don't have full access to it as far as like my husband being able to post stuff and things like that. So we started the WhatsApp group because I think it's going to be a little bit easier on communication. So far, it has been, I think. So for those of you that are in there, you can kind of chime in and say, yeah, the WhatsApp group has been good. So that's where we're going to kind of do some more of the updates and things like that as we go along. We're actually creating an app for the whole weekend event too. So you're going to get access to that as well. So there's going to be a lot of new technology stuff coming out for you as well. So I'm glad you love the studio. It looked beautiful in the pictures and stuff that I saw. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for you. So let me get rid of this one. And I'm going to go ahead and log off of Instagram too. So if you're following us on Instagram, go ahead on over to YouTube. There we go. Yes, all the congratulations. We're going to give it just a touch more time here, and then we're going to get rolling. So I was waiting this week to do wrap-ups because we don't have a lot of show photos. So there's 3 shows this past weekend, but we only have pictures for one of them. So I am going to give a couple of shout-outs and things like that. So Ashley Kaltwasser did win the, which one was it? Hold on, let me pull it up. Which one was it that she won? Somebody shout it out for me. Results. It was the Invictus. She won the Invictus Pro, right? That's the one she won. So that gives her her 50th win. Don't have any photos from it, so I can't showcase those or anything like that. So I did want to shout her out though. She is on the YouTube thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. So that's a big deal. She is the most winningest pro she has been. And now she just hit a new milestone with those 50 wins. So congratulations to her with that. I don't think we'll probably ever see anybody surpass that, to be perfectly honest with you. So, yeah, so unfortunately we don't have any photos to go with it, but yeah, congratulations to her on that. Let me pull up the results. We can at least show you guys the results on that. Let's see, here we go. So Katarina took second, which Katarina's taken second a half a dozen times at this point. There we go. So there's your results from the Invictus Pro. So yeah, congratulations to Ashley. And then, like I said, Katarina has been knocking at that door 3-4 shows at this point. She's been in that second place position. She took second to Yulia. She took second to Ari. She just took second to somebody last week too, I think. Somebody help me out. Forgot. I'm trying to remember all these shows off the top of my head. But I'm sure she'll get a win here eventually. I think she's taken second 3 times at this point. So that was that one, and then which is this one? I think this is Vietnam. No, this is the preview. We're gonna do previews. We have some good previews this week. Let's see. That is. Yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out to Adrianna Kaczmarek too, because she also won. She won the Everest Muscle Games, but again, we don't have any photos, so I can't show those pictures. She was one that we mentioned. We assumed was going to win this show. She looked phenomenal at the Olympia. She actually took quite a bit of time off, and since she's come back, she's looked really, really good, like really, really good. So I don't think this was a surprise to anyone that she took this win. She actually was the last one. She was the last one to qualify for this past year's Olympia, and now she's in this year's Olympia real quick. So good for her. She played that season real well, right? So now she's qualified for next year's Olympia, and if she wants to keep competing, she can, but she can take some time off if she'd like to as well. So yeah, so I wanted to give her a shout out too. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have any photos to go over, so can't do that, but I wanted to at least highlight the ladies that did win this past week. So what do we got here? I think this is, yes, so this is Vietnam. We can look at Vietnam, because Vietnam we do have photos of. They're not the best photos in the world. Lots of downlighting and shadowing and things like that. But I do want to at least go through these pictures, because this is the one show from this past weekend that we do have photos of. So let's go ahead and do that, So Nittaya did win this. Assumed she was going to. And I really think she's one of these competitors that's a little bit underrated. I don't think she gets enough credit. She qualifies for the Olympia every year. She does tend to do it in these Asian countries and things like that, but she does qualify every year. I think she's got a great package. I just think she kind of gets overlooked when she comes here to the States sometimes. But she qualified, so that's great. Let's take a look at our 5th place, which is Heather here. Now, the one thing that I will say about these ladies from these different Asian countries that are coming into the Olympia now is they have phenomenal proportions, teeny tiny little waistlines, amazing like lat spreads and everything like that. But one thing that I have noticed when they got on the actual Olympia stage is they tend to be too hard, or like here. She's got ridiculous proportions, but you can tell her upper body is quite overpowering in comparison to her lower body. Now, I would also say here that she's a little bit washed out in the waistline. Her conditioning could probably be a little bit better here. This is a ridiculous frame. I mean, they have cartoonish proportions. They the genetics, as far as they're concerned, are ridiculous. I mean, they do phenomenal in men's physique for that reason, because they have tiny waistlines, everything like that. But they really kind of have to figure out and streamline their physiques and get into the right conditioning as well. So I think that's kind of the challenge that they have. And I think we've talked about this a little bit. We're getting more and more Asian competitors and competitions in their countries. So I think they're just going to start to get better. And once they get on board with the actual criteria, they're going to be hard. They're going to be hard to beat because of the ridiculous proportions. So we've seen this a little bit with the European competitors. The European competitors are getting better because they are getting more exposure to the actual criteria here in the States. I think once we see that with these Asian ladies, like it's going to be game over, right? So here you can see this, right? She needs some more upper outer glute, but she has these amazing like hamstring drops. I would say her conditioning from the back is pretty spot on. Posing needs a little bit of work. She needs to open up a little bit through the top here. But if she can get some more upper outer glute and kind of pop this out a little bit, I think she would be really, really good. So here in the States, she would probably do pretty decent, but she does have to work on kind of streamlining her upper body from that front pose a little bit. And then she'd be pretty much on point there. Next up, we have Josephine. So let's pull up a front pose of Josephine. You can see the lighting's not the greatest at this show. So we're seeing a lot of shadows and things like that too. So let's see, like hard lighting. There's some like red light on them and stuff like that too. So conditioning for her is a little bit better. Again, she's got that fullness. She's got that roundness in the shoulder. She's a little bit, I would say, again, a little bit too wide in her upper body, right? A little bit too much on the shoulders, just a touch. But I would say this conditioning is pretty good. I would say overall this conditioning is pretty good. She's a little bit tighter through the midsection than we just saw. So this is a better physique, a better flow. Let's take a look at her back shot. Now, when we're looking at her from the back, conditioning is a little over the top. Okay, so she's a little bit too hard here. You can see she's got that graininess going on through her hamstrings in the back. Her hamstrings are really tight tie-ins with the glutes. And she's another one that needs more upper outer glute here. Upper body pose is good. She just needs to probably stand up a little taller so she doesn't look quite so flat in the glutes. But I would say overall she just needs to grow a little bit more glute so that we have more projection, more pop out at us. And then maybe the suit cut is a little bit off. If she had a little bit of a smaller suit cut, that might show a little bit more roundness and fullness to the glutes here. Overall, the pose itself is not bad. She just needs to kind of grow some more oomph to that projection, right? Next, we have Jacqui. Let's find a front pose of her. Here's a good one. She's a beautiful girl. One thing that they got to work on here in most of these Asian countries is the faces are too light for the body. That's kind of a cultural thing. So they just got to work on kind of blending that a little. With the front pose here, she looks like she's bending over a touch. So I try to stand up a little taller and bring the hand back on her waistline. Her hand's a little bit too towards the middle on her waistline here. But overall, this conditioning is very, very good. She's full, she's tight, she's round. So there's just a few little details here that are missing as far as, again, just kind of getting that pose in the right spot. Also, one of the things that my eye goes straight to is her shoes and her toes hanging over the edges of the shoes. So ladies, make sure your toes don't hang off. That's something I'm looking right dead at. So she does have a little bit of quad here. Probably needs to pull the quad down a little bit and just reshape that a touch. But overall, really, really good. Really, really good look. Probably just needs to refine it just a little bit. Back shot here. She's got phenomenal glutes. Phenomenal glute structure. This is what I'm talking about with the upper outer glute. She has more. She has great projection, all of that. But you can see here from the back where she needs to streamline the legs. So we see a lot of that quad pop on the outside. The pose itself is great. She just needs to bring those quads down, right? She's kind of like baby wellness right now. She's a little over the line when it comes to bikini. She's not wellness, but she's a little over the line when it comes to bikini. So I'd say she just needs to streamline the quads. So again, as you can tell, each one of these girls that I've talked about, they all have something that they need to streamline as far as their physique is concerned. There's one body part that's kind of sticking out, right? So with her, it's the quads. Jin Chi, she has done a couple of shows here in the States and has been doing decent here in the States. She has been to the Olympia in the past, so she's been there. Here's a front pose. Okay, here we go. So I would say this is a pretty good look for her. Tiny waistline, probably again needs to pull the quads down just a little bit. That's a pretty strong quad right here. Upper body looks pretty good. Overall look looks pretty good. Like her face is blended better than the last girl's. So I would say she just needs to probably streamline the quad a little bit there. Let's see. Yep, and as we look at her back pose, you can see she needs to streamline her quads. Glutes look fantastic. But yeah, she needs to bring the quads down a little bit. This sweep right here is just too much, right? Upper body looks great. You know, if she could bring down the quad just a little bit, and actually her glutes may be a little too like width-wise wide. So she probably needs to bring the quads down a little bit. And you know, honestly, some of this could be posing. She's pointing her toes out quite a bit in this back pose. I think if she was to bring her toes in a little, that would probably bring everything down just a touch here, and that would probably put her into the right position. She may not need to actually streamline the quads. She may just need to pose that a little bit differently. Bring the toes straight forward, and that would probably help. She could stand a little bit more of this inner glute here, but I'm really thinking if she was to reshape this pose, we might see that pop a little bit better too. So I think it's the pose. I think it's the pose more than anything else. So I like to see her bring those toes in and just see what it does for her shape. And we have Nittaya, who did win this. So here is her front pose. So this is a really good proportion. You know, again, there's nothing here that's sticking out to me. Her upper half matches her lower half. Nice and full in her conditioning. Again, her face blends with her body, you know, those kinds of things. It's not super white. So pose is great. I wouldn't change anything about the pose. You know, this is a very balanced physique in comparison to some of the other girls where we've seen just pieces of them kind of pop out a little bit, right? So here's a back pose for you. And this is what I was talking about with the streamlining the quads, right? She has hers streamlined. So she's a little square in her glutes. But when you look at her glutes versus her legs, they're in balance, right? There's nothing here that's overpowering. I would probably open up the upper back just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little, so we get some more width out to her shoulders there. That would make her her waistline look a little bit smaller from the back. And then she needs I would say probably just to pump a little bit more, and a little bit more glaze on her glutes. She looks a little dry on her glutes, so that's why we're losing that pop here. If she had just a little bit more glaze on her glutes, I think this would be right. I think she would be right on. Like I said, she's a little bit square, so I'd probably try to relax this a little and just try to get that to pop a little bit better. But in general, like I said, she has the best balanced physique of all the girls that we just looked at. And I hope you guys can see that. Comment, let me know if you can see that when I'm talking about balance. There's no body part on her that sticks out. Right? There's no body part on her that's like, oh, this is too big, or oh, this is too small, or anything like that. Everything flows together pretty well. Now, again, if she can kind of fix this and get a little bit more projection here, a little bit more pop, I think she'd be good. I think her conditioning is fine. I just think she needs to put some glaze on and probably tweak this pose just a little bit. But overall, really, really good look. This is, you know, not surprising. I assumed that she was going to be our winner at this show. Predicted her as the winner. So good job there. And that's really all I have from this past week. I don't have any other photos, unfortunately. I wish I had more to go through with you, but we do have a huge lineup of shows coming up this coming weekend. So we're going to go into those really quickly, kind of talk about the girls that we should be paying attention to for these shows. We just looked at this one. Let me make sure that I've got the right tab up. So we looked at that. Okay, we're going to get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. The big show is the one here. But we also have Romania. So we're going to look at Romania first. Okay, so here's our list for Romania. I don't recognize a lot of the names on here, so I didn't pull up everybody. If somebody sees a name that I missed, tell me and I'll plug them in. So I pulled up, it's a big list, guys. It's a big list here. Okay, so all of them are, European girls. So some of them I don't know them. So if you guys see somebody here that I'm not highlighting, so I've only got 4 girls up on here, please let me know. I'll plug them in. So we have Nora. So I brought Nora up. This past year, Nora didn't do fantastic. I mean, she did get one second place here in her first show of the year, but she has in the past. And, when she first jumped on the scene, I kind of likened her to being like the next Janet Leog. She kind of reminded me of her, very pretty girl, but her shape is just not made it, right? This is her last show. Her conditioning was really, really off. I'm not really sure what the issue was with her last year. So it could have just been I don't know, her body is tired. I have no idea. I don't know what happened with her last year, but I did want to kind of highlight her because it is somebody that I paid attention to in years past. She has made it to the Olympia in the past. So I would be looking at her to see if she's made some improvements. I'm trying to see where it is. See, you can see the year 2021, she had a ton of 4th place positions. She did go to the Olympia in 2020 and she won the Romania show in 2019. So that's what took her to the Olympia right here. Okay. So I'm curious to see what she's going to look like this year. I brought up also Alice. So Alice obviously has gone to the Olympia, has done decent this past year. 4th place, 7th place, that kind of thing. So I do think she's one to be paying attention to with this show. Let's see if we had a good front pose of her. Here we go. She was just a little bit washed out and her posing was a little bit wonky at the Olympia. So you can see her waistline just a little bit washed out. Beautiful girl. But it looks like maybe she kind of over dieted for the show or something along that line. She's a little soft, that kind of thing. But I do think that she's one to be paying attention to for this particular show. Inez, who has been in the top 5 the last couple of shows. She was one that I mentioned. I'm not a huge fan of her. I think I mentioned I'm not a huge fan of her suit. She's very, 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 very muscular, very compact, muscular girl. So we'll see what she looks like next to everybody else. Just don't know how it's going to play out for her. With that, she's also going to be standing next to Carrie. So Carrie's coming back again for another show. Carrie is on the more muscular side here. So Carrie's again been doing, 2nd place, 3rd place, 2nd place, 2nd place, 3rd place, that kind of thing. She's been bouncing between those top 3 spots. So I would say she's one to be looking at for sure in the show and more on the more muscular side. So that could play well for Inez as well. Who is it? You said Patricia. Where is she? Right here. Oops. Let me plug her in real quick. There we go. Okay. So I would say she's probably your front runner because she did just beat Carrie. So she's a little bit more on the smaller side. If they go with the same kind of look and vibe at this show, then that would be the direction we would go. I would say if they go with this direction, it would be probably her and Alice they're going to be looking at. You know what I mean? If they go for more muscular, then we're probably looking at Inez and Carrie, right? So that's the direction I would say. It's just, again, it probably depends on how they all come in for this show too. That'll probably make a difference. So if they come in looking really, one of these girls comes in looking really on point, the rest of them are going to get compared to her, right? So there's the full list. It is a big list. I don't know many of these other girls. Some of the names kind of look a little bit familiar to me, but nobody that's really popping out at me. So that's one to be paying attention to. One of the shows to be paying attention to. It's a big show. They do it right in Romania, that's for sure. So that. Okay, next one we're going to look at is Chantal Hall. See, I pulled her up. Maybe the name was spelled wrong or something, because I did pull her up and it gave me somebody that was taking like 16th place. So I don't know. Maybe I copied it wrong or something. But I did recognize the name, and when I pulled her up, the placings didn't match with what I pulled up. So, but anyway, we'll pay attention to her too, Chantal. This is Musclecontest Fit. Is it Fit Parade? Is that what it is? Fit Para. Okay. So for this one, again, not a whole lot of names pop out here. I don't think I pulled Luciana up. I think that she's one, isn't she? Oops, hit the wrong button. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they spelled her name wrong. But anyway, so I pulled up Jessica Machado. She has done decent. Not, top 5 or anything like that this past year. But I believe, yeah, she got a second place here. So in the past, she's been top 5, that kind of thing. So I brought her up. And I brought up Priscilla, but Priscilla has been really off with her conditioning every show she's done this year. So I don't know. She almost looks like she's really, like, I don't know, her body's just done kind of thing. I'm kind of surprised she's still competing. So I don't really particularly see either of them as like a front runner. And I don't see anybody else on this list that I would say is a front runner, unless I'm missing somebody. So I guess this is just a matter of who shows up, and we might have somebody new come out that's a big star or something like that coming out of this. But this is wide open. This one is wide open. So yeah, that's all I got for this particular show, unless there's somebody on here I missed him. And then the big one for this weekend is Iron Games. So Iron Games is stacked with people. Okay. There's a bunch of people on this list that I didn't even pull up, but could be potentials. So I just pulled up a handful of them. So if you, again, if you want to shout somebody out, feel free. If I miss somebody on here, let's go through this list real quick here. We've got Wu Bai. So Wu has been placing very well. The last handful of shows. Didn't do so hot at the Olympia, but outside the Olympia, she's been in those top spots, top 2s, top 5s, that kind of thing. So she's definitely one to be paying attention to here. I think with her, it's a matter of just refining her posing, kind of the same thing we were talking about the girls in Vietnam. She just needs to refine her overall look. We have Kimber. So Kimber has not been on stage for a while. Optimum. May was the last time she was on stage, but she was getting top 5s. First call outs and stuff like that too. So she's been off the stage for a little bit. So we can definitely be paying attention to her for sure. Good luck on your pro debut right there. Congratulations. Have fun. This is going to be a hell of a show for a pro debut. a lot of tough competition here. So, let's see. So that's Kimber. And then we have Jess. So I've mentioned Jess a few times in the last few weeks. She's a European competitor. She has won a show. Hate her suit. I mentioned that several times, that I hate her suit. Tends to come in a little bit too conditioned. So we'll see what she does at this particular show. I don't foresee her being a threat to the title here. Probably second call out, I'm guessing, somewhere in there, unless she softens up a lot and changes her suit. Brittany, so Brittany has been first call outs, Olympian, all of that. So Brittany's definitely want to be paying attention to here. She's been on stage a lot this year. So curious to see what she does differently coming into this show. But she's one to be watching for sure. Next, we have Tara. So Tara, absolutely want to be paying attention to. She, has been placing really well outside of the Olympia. Even at the Olympia, she didn't do too bad. But she's definitely one to watch. I think she came in second at the Arnold UK. So I would give her kind of a hands up here. She's probably one of the going to be top 2, that kind of thing. Then we have Eureka. So this is Eureka Noda. This is her last show she was on, Eureka Shigemoto. So Eureka is one to be paying attention to for sure. This was Japan last year. I competed in this show, and I know there's a million pictures here, so I wanted to get to one where you can actually see her. So there's Eureka. Eureka has not been on stage since this time last year. So it's been a hot minute. So I'm curious to see what she looks like now with a full year off and hopefully coming back looking better. She's definitely one that everybody likes to root for. She's a great girl. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she looks like. Ashley Mintz, the overall Olympia amateur bikini winner, making debut. It looks like we're having a few debuts at this show. Cool. We have Lacey. So Lacey has been knocking at that door, several second places, but getting really close to a win. Not a win yet, but really close. So she's absolutely one to be paying attention to. Beautiful look. Overall frame is phenomenal. So let's just see how she does this particular show. And then we have Jessica Wilson. So I would also say Jessica is probably one of your front runners here. She did place in the top half of the competitors at the Olympia. She didn't actually get a placing, but she was very close to it. She just placed, 4th at the Arnold Brazil. So she's absolutely one to be paying attention to. I would say that between her and Tara, those are probably your front runners going into the show just on paper. Yeah, I would say on paper they're your front runners, but that doesn't mean anything because all of these girls have qualified for the Olympia outside of Kimber. Kimber has not. Anybody that I missed here that has been placing in the top 5? Anybody that I missed that I should shout out? There's several girls here that have gotten like first call outs and things like that, but not actual top 5s. So anybody else that's gotten top 5s? Anybody else that I missed? And there's been a lot of these girls that have competed several times this year, so it's very well possible that I missed somebody. Regardless, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a very, very tough one. I'm really curious to see how this goes because there's just so many different looks that are getting on stage for this one. So I'm very, very curious to see how this particular show plays out. What kind of look they reward. I think this one is going to be probably, of the weekend, this one is probably going to be the closest to like your Olympia standard when we talk about who actually wins this show. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. These shows, this last handful of shows are getting really tough, you guys. Really, really tough. So you said Stephanie Warden. I don't remember that name. Let me pull her up. Oh, I know who this is. I do that every time. I don't know why I forget every time with her. I think because she changed her last name. What's her shoot. Every time I miss her. I've done this like twice to her. But yes, you're right. Absolutely. She's placed top 5. I thought she competed in something since the Sun Rayz. I know I talked about her this year. Anybody know what maybe they spelled her name differently or something like that? I don't know. That's the hard part when they change names up a little bit. Regardless, yes, she's one to pay attention to for sure. Okay. I promise I'm not going to forget her next time. Yeah, I thought she did too. And I think she changed her name or something like that, or they spelled it wrong or something along that line. What if I could find it real quick? I just couldn't remember which show it was that she did. Oh, that's why. Okay. I knew she competed this year. Right here. There we go. Yep. There we go. She did Wasatch. Okay. But yeah, you can see Steph. The other one said Stephanie, so that's why. That's why. So, yeah, I knew she had competed. I just couldn't remember what they did as far as her name was different. So they changed it from Steph to Stephanie. So that screws up her whole record on NBC News. So there you go. All right, we got her. Promise I'm not going to do it again. I can't make that promise, actually. I will probably screw it up again. That's just the way I am. So there we go. Now she gets a feature. Okay, cool. Yes, definitely want to watch right there too. All right. So, okay, I think we got everybody then. But anyway, there's a lot of people in this particular show to be paying attention to. So, it's gonna be interesting. I'm very interested to see how it actually plays out. I definitely am. So, with that, anything anybody else wants to add before we end out for today? Yeah, it's gonna be a long show, I think. So get ready. Hope you got some posing conditioning going on. And it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see how it actually plays out and what look they end up rewarding for it. So with that, you guys, we are back to our normal Behind the Bikini tomorrow because Jordan's back from vacation. Yay! So Jordan is back, so we will be recording that tomorrow. I did start a new series called Coffee to Cigars. If you have not seen that, it's up here on my channel, so go check out that first episode of that. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, more fitness, lifestyle type questions, this one's going to be more on the side of lifestyle versus competing. Feel free to send those in. Pairing up activity like training, nutrition, and diet, and things like that with coffee. And then if it has to do rest, recovery, recouping, that kind of thing, then it's going to be paired up with cigars. So we're going to do a tasting this weekend. We're going to answer questions this weekend. So we'll have another episode out for you this week. Hopefully, I'm going to try and do it once a week. That's going to be my goal. We'll see how much of it I'm able to do. But with that, you guys, like I was saying before, if you are coming to Kaczmarek Conquering the Stage CCTS 2025, we do still have tickets available, so you can still get a ticket. But if you are coming, you need to be in our WhatsApp group. So the link for the WhatsApp group is inside of our Facebook group. We've been having issues with my husband getting banned from Facebook and stuff like that. So long story. Basically what we did is we moved everything to WhatsApp. We still have the Facebook group. We're still going to use that, but we're going to use the WhatsApp group for more like immediate interaction. So check that out because I've been sending over, ideas for our themes and all that kind of stuff. So you can weigh in and give me your 2 cents on what you'd like to do for the CCTS weekend. We are going to start hitting that hard and heavy going forward because we are very, very close to the actual event. So I'm looking forward to that. It is our 10-year anniversary and I cannot wait to see you all there. So with that, you guys, I hope you've had a fantastic week so far. I know it's been a crazy week here in the US for obvious reasons. And we'll be back again with Behind the Bikini tomorrow. So have a great night and we'll see